Man sees his baby for the first time and decided to stop the wedding. Sam and Layla had been dating for 2 years when they decided to take their love to the next level and marry. It was going to be the best day of their lives, and they knew their beloved families would be there to support them. Sam couldn't wait to finally call Layla his wife because she looked stunning in her white gown. The ceremony went off without a hitch, and the pair were set to exchange rings as husband and wife for the first time. But then something strange happened. Sam gasped in pain and dropped onto the floor as she was ready to place the ring on Layla's finger. Everyone was taken aback and raced to assist her. Going in labor. The guests were stunned into silence as Layla, the hugely pregnant bride, sank onto her knees during the wedding ceremony. Going in labor. The guests were stunned into silence as Layla, the hugely pregnant bride, sank onto her knees during the wedding ceremony. Advertisement. Going in labor. Going in labor. Sam, her soon-to-be husband, could see it on her face. The baby was on its way. Fortunately, there was a doctor on hand to assist Layla in giving birth on the scene. Suddenly it all made sense. Layla was well aware of how she seemed, and it was evident that she was mortified beyond belief, and it immediately became clear to Sam why Layla was so adamant about being married before giving a baby. All of his feelings for her swiftly turned to pure hatred. He grabbed his wedding ring and tossed it through the church before storming out. He didn't want to see Layla again. But what was wrong with the baby's face? Why did Sam respond this way, and why did Layla want to marry before having children? A wedding and a pregnancy. Sam was aware that planning his wedding with Layla so close to her due date might not be the best choice. Sam had tried to convince Layla to postpone the wedding until later in the year, but she refused. Layla did not want to wait. Layla began pressing for Sam's marriage as soon as she found out she was pregnant. The pregnancy was not intended, and Sam had not proposed to Layla. Afraid she could not get pregnant. So when she found out she was pregnant, she didn't want to give it up because it might be her only opportunity. Layla had been scared for a long time that she might be unable to conceive because of a uterine operation she underwent years ago, wanting to be a father. Sam had always wanted to be a parent. Therefore, he was all for keeping the baby, and he was also persuaded that Layla was the appropriate person with whom to establish a family. But he felt like the wedding and its preparations were rushed owing to the pregnancy, keeping Layla happy. But he went along with everything to make his future wife happy. He also did most of the wedding planning. He was attempting to keep as much stress and anguish away from her as possible while she was carrying his child. 3 weeks before the due date. Their wedding date was planned around 3 weeks before Layla was due to give birth to their child. Getting more nervous. Layla and Sam became increasingly worried as the wedding date approached. Layla became increasingly ill as the days passed, which was normal at this time of the pregnancy. Was she still adamant about carrying forward with the wedding? Going to a doctor. And, as one might assume, the doctor was not thrilled with the concept, but Sam was unsure and encouraged Layla to accompany him to the doctor and let him decide whether getting married in a few weeks was a smart idea, very much against the wedding. He agreed with Sam that it was insane to do something so emotionally exhausting and momentous, so soon to give birth. Something was wrong. So, even though the doctor couldn't establish what was wrong with Layla's health, there was something wrong with her decision-making. No changing Layla's mind. Layla, on the other hand, had not changed her mind and had expressly forbidden Sam from moving the wedding. Sam was prepared to phone all of the guests and advise them that the wedding had to be rescheduled owing to the pregnancy, armed with the doctor's stern advice. Why was Layla like this? Sam had been considered up until this point, but he had had enough. How could that be so significant? He insisted that Layla provide him with a compelling cause for jeopardizing her health and that of their unborn boy to marry as soon as feasible. Religious motives. Layla finally offered Sam an answer after some thought. But it was not the response he had hoped for or expected. She told him she was concerned her religious grandparents would criticize her if she had a child before marriage, even though Sam was aware that Layla had very religious grandparents who would undoubtedly judge her. They were likely to judge her anyhow because it was obvious that they had sex before marriage. Not able to convince Layla. He told Layla that, but she kept her narrative straight and said that her grandparents would be displeased about the baby being born. Not able to convince Layla. He told Layla that, but she kept her narrative straight and said that her grandparents would be displeased about the baby being born. Advertisement. Not able to convince Layla. Not able to convince Layla. Advertisement. No way of changing her mind. Sam had realized by this point that he was not going to be able to persuade Layla. Sam couldn't get his head around Layla's weird conduct, but to be honest, it wasn't wholly out of character for his lover. Lying through her teeth. He was well aware that she was lying through her teeth about her religious grandparents. He'd only met them once because Layla didn't keep in touch with them very often, and yeah, they believed in God, but not to the amount that would make them angry. Excuses. Sam had had enough of his girlfriend not being entirely honest with him, but the trouble was that he never had enough evidence to back up his accusations. Nothing he could do. As a result, he couldn't do anything about it. He tried to talk to her, but she always made excuses for her actions, the girl of his dreams. When Sam first met Layla, he soon understood she was the girl of his dreams. He fell head over heels in love with her, and she appears to have done the same. Together, they did everything together and seemed to have created an unbreakable relationship. But recently, something had begun to shift. She changed. Layla's personality evolved with time, and she grew easily agitated. She used to be so sweet and affectionate, but Sam didn't recognize her anymore. Self-improvement. Layla had told him she wanted to improve herself for him and their future family, but Sam questioned whether she was capable of doing so. The wedding was happening. The wedding was happening whether he liked it or not, because, despite everything, he still wanted to marry Layla and was ecstatic about the birth of their child. As a result, he began making final preparations for the event. Layla felt better. Fortunately, Layla appeared to be feeling better, even if she was faking it a little. Sam gained some confidence from it. And when the wedding day approached, Sam could honestly claim he was looking forward to it. The day arrived. Layla was getting ready in the rear, and he wasn't allowed to see her until she came to the altar to meet him. On the day, all of the friends and family arrived, and Sam was waiting to greet them at the church's entrance, not seeing Layla today. Sam was aware that Layla was nervous, but that she was in the capable hands of her mother and sister. He wasn't thinking about her or the baby since he was too preoccupied with making sure everything went perfectly on.